Hey there everybody, SeKo Starcraft back bringing you some pro replays. We have Liquid Snute versus Goody. This is from Go for SC2. One of the preliminary rounds here. I don't think it's too far into it yet, but I haven't seen any games or cast any games with Snute from the Go for SC2. So this should be pretty good. It is a Zerg versus Terran, and I've casted a few games from Goody now. Know him as a very strong but generally not a super aggressive Terran. Likes to play that mech style for quite a bit of the stuff that I've seen and slowly push out across the map. But actually the last games that we did cast him in the best of 3, he did decide to go for a little bit more bio play. I believe that was up against Liquid Rat. So we'll see if Liquid Snute can avenge his friend here, teammate, and get himself out a win. He's got his Overlord going in the right direction here. It's a 4-player map. I think this one's Frost. Never seem to remember the names very well. And it's a pretty good map for Terran, I think, overall. I mean, it's pretty spread out. There's a lot of room to run around with Zerglings and counter 3rd and 4th bases and so forth. But as a Zerg player with so much space, it is pretty easy to get dropped on. And if you've got a really good Terran player that's, going to patiently move around and pick his timings, you can see these games get pretty long. I don't expect to see anything funky out of either of these players in the early games. This is a best of 3. This is game 1. And when I watch, these players, they're going to be opening up what I assume to be very standard. We even have a Rax at Liquid Snute. Yeah. Maybe that's his Twitter. It's the only thing I could think. So I've got to expect fairly standard play from both of these players. Snute, I haven't casted the game from in a long time. He just got back from Korea. He spent a little bit of time over there. Can't remember which house he was in again, but he was with one of the Korean houses doing some training. We'll see this Marine pop out. Might be able to start getting some damage in on that Overlord. No, it should be able to just squeak away. And you will see the timing of this command center go down. We'll see if he goes for a 3rd hatch here really soon, or some sort of pressure. They said that Overlord should be getting out of there just fine. No worries. I think this counts as high ground. I don't know for sure. Yep, should be just fine there. I have myself a nice cold one. Finished work not too long ago. Made myself some burritos. They were fantastic, homemade burritos. With Parmesan cheese, believe it or not. Get yourself some really heavy amounts of Parmesan cheese in your kind of homemade burritos. It was something else. Big fan of cheese. And as I would have expected, we're going to be seeing the 3 command center opening on this side. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen another hatch thrown down by the Zerg player. There isn't any gases, so I don't think it's going to be some sort of roach play here. There's no. He's got the minerals. Oh, I just spent them all on more queens. And maybe this is a bit of a misread from him, thinking that maybe his opponent's going to go into something a little bit more aggressive. As we can see right now, Goody's in a great spot. If this other command center gets finished up here, he's going to be able to start really pumping out all of that economy. I don't believe... Oh man, no way. 4 command center opening. That's really interesting. I don't think I can say safely that I have never seen that in a pro game. 4 command centers on 1 barracks. Gotta check that build order out. Supply depot, barracks, command center, command center, command center. We still don't have anything. There's that base finally going on over there. And maybe it's just me and I see a lot of Zerg players that really want to get out that other hatchery really quick. Perhaps Snoot's just a little bit more confident if he just drones up really heavy on 2 bases, gets them more saturated, before he worries about getting this other base. Particularly if there is a big Hellion and Marine push or something, could do a lot of damage. Vice versa, if a 2-base Roach play came out of this, Snoot probably would just win in probably about a minute or 2. There is absolutely no way that there's going to be enough tech out to have potentially dealt with it. Even if he rushes for tanks now, if there was roaches on the way, they'd already be on the front door, or at least pretty close to it. Very conservative play from Goody. Sorry, from Snute. Maybe this is just Goody playing the metagame here. I like this as the mule dump. It's just... Maybe he watches a lot of Snoot replays, sees him as something a little bit more conservative opening. Because this is something that you would want to punish if you knew about it. Let's look at the income side of things here. Pretty tied up. Well, it was tied up. I guess a couple of mules just died. There it goes, back in the other favor. Even though he's down by, you know, 16. Yeah, about 16 workers. He's got himself just enough mules and orbital commands here. He's going to be flying in economy right away. We'll see if he goes into mech. Like I said, Goody, I know, plays a pretty solid mech game. And let's see if that's the direction he wants to go. He can afford it. He doesn't have to worry about getting a third base put down too soon. There's a bit of metagame to that, because sometimes the Zerg players, if they're smart enough, will start to wonder, like, why don't you have a third base down? I mean, you're a Terran player, this is a big map, you're not getting pressured. I should be expecting to see this at a certain time, and maybe if he doesn't see it, he might start sending around some more Overlords or a Zergling or something to scout. That's the only thing that I would picture. And it's interesting, you'll see that he's not rushing out a lot more production facilities here on this side. There's this scan through him. The fact that he sees this orbital command in this base should make him feel pretty certain that... Oh, there's roach pressure. Bit of delayed roach pressure. That should just be able to maybe do a bit of damage on the front wall. There's not a lot of surface area to that bunker to repair, but this tank will be in plenty of range to deal with any of the roaches that are in place. As you can see, I think it was going to originally come down here to deny the third, but there's no third. This Viking is a pretty happy Viking. Get all the Overlords you want. You don't have to worry about anything that shoots up. And there's the mech, so this should be an exciting hour-long game, is what I can predict. Oh, this is pretty tasty. Just gets it in time as well, actually. Unfortunately, another tank is already ready. So it didn't work out super well for Snoot. Oh man, that's a big investment into roaches. If he had Overlord speed, I'd say he might be able to come in here and snipe this tank down. Let's try to rush out more tanks here because he's in a pretty tight spot when it comes to that. Economy, whoa, 71. You can see the power of that there 4-base opening. Holy crap. He has got his entire game's worth of economy built in the 10 minutes. That's probably some of the fastest economy I've ever seen happen. That's like the complete opposite of like the 10-minute roach max. It's like the 10-minute economy max. Missile turrets already on the way. Lots of missile turrets. I play mech as well, and there's just a huge vulnerability you get when you go against mech to mutalisks, and just the maneuverability of the mutalisk. And it would be very easy for 8 mutalisks to come down here and just wreck face. We can see the strategy here is going to be the locusts, and this is actually a good strategy. It's gonna work with his upgrades. The tanks will be able to deflect the locusts, but he should be able to keep a lot of pressure on his opponent. I wonder if he's going to start searching around for other bases, just because it's very hard to support mech on 2 bases. It looks like he is scouting all over the place, so it wouldn't surprise me too much to see that as being the case. This command center is not going to be able to get down, and it should be a while before the Terran can actually really get in position to deny that. Let's see. Oh, he will see it here. Now, the command center will live, and if we look at the gas, he's taken just about 500 gas from each, and a lot of the minerals from here. There, we're just looking at Snoot's vision, and I'm sure he's very unhappy to see that's the case. You can see all the green on the mini-map just floating over there now. Back to everybody's vision. Creep spreads were working pretty good. I wonder if he's just going to try to keep these workers going as long as possible. That's probably what I would suggest. I mean, they're probably all going to get killed anyways. You might as well maximize the amount of income you can make here. Now, Goody, obviously, with that big influx. Oh, wow. More command centers, Thors. This is pretty sick. We do have the Spire on the way. 2-2 is a little bit behind for the Terran player, but that's understandable when he was getting pressured at the front. He wanted to get out more units. Did he lose the command center? No, he didn't. I was about to say that would have been a crazy bad loss. But at this point, I would expect Snoot to really start trying to take the map. killing these rocks might not be a bad idea either. Lots and lots of command centers, and this is where Goody's really comfortable at this point. He's got the missile turrets up, he's got the Thors out, he's got his upgrades on the go. Big Viking count, you want that to be able to deal with any type of... excuse me. You want to be able to deal with any type of Vipers that are coming out. But these things should be able... Sorry, these Swarmos should be able to reposition themselves very easily. What I would expect to see over here, though, is some static defenses or some Hydras of some sort. Just because it'd be very easy for some Banshees to come out and really take advantage of this situation. A couple more command centers get cancelled. It looks as though Goody is not that interested in playing too far behind in this economy. I think coming over with his Swarm host to this side might have given a bit more opportunity to attack that way. Lots and lots of Swarm hosts. Vipers are on the way. Oh no! Just crappy rally point. This happens a lot because it's very easy to take these Swarm hosts and then you click up here to rally them. But if all of your Swarm hosts on burrow, they'll just run to their death. It is so stupid. Holy crap. This is sick. 5 command centers at once. There we go. This will be better positioning. Scans going down everywhere just to see. Great positioning on the Swarm hosts. Big pile more Swarm hosts on the way. The upgrades. Now what you can do with the Vikings, because there's nothing to shoot at them, is you can take them over here and position them better. Burrow. There we go. Now Blue Flame, I'm surprised hasn't been finished up yet. In the grand scheme of things, it's not too expensive. It's very worthwhile. There's the static defenses that I was expecting. He does have to match up the timings on these with the siege tanks. You want all of your locusts to be a nice big bunch together, just to make sure that you get off as many shots as possible. Big creep spread, big economy. This is funny though. That is a lot of command centers. And this is where we're just going to see Goody essentially move across the map extremely slowly and patiently. The good thing to go for is you can see the Ravens are coming out. The Ravens is really the next big step for the Terran in this position. Because you can get all those point defense drones. The point defense drones are obviously going to deal really well. Not as big of a bank for Goody yet. A big one for Snute. Very cost effective units. What are the upgrades on these things? I think they were, yeah, 2, 3. The third upgrade's not finished yet. As we can see, they're not even getting that many shots off right now. Lots of queens up here for the transfuses. Very smart. These Ravens, though, are going to be a very, very critical part of what's happening here. Now, the Vipers are just not cost effective enough. I don't think I'd be going with too many of those. The Vikings can hit them with the same amount of range, even if you grab a tank or two. It's very hard to justify the cost of these Vipers, I think, in my mind at least. Get a few shots off here. Every shot that you can get off is free damage. So that's what you really want to see happen. Lots of transfuses, lots of extra energy. It's a pretty fun little mix here. It'd be nice to see something come over here, maybe just some roaches, just to patrol. Maybe that's what he's doing with these Zerglings, just to make sure that he's not getting economy cheesed again. We do have the pathogen glands. I think the infestors is a great play. Get more of those casting units out. Keep that bank building up. Excuse me. I mean, the Terran can afford the minerals, but it's the gas that he's a bit more starved in. He wants to go Raven, big upgrades, tanks, and Vikings. Very, very difficult to sustain. You can trust me on that, because I play a lot of Mech. Well, it does get a couple more tanks. Maybe he's oh, there we go. Huge corruptor count. I mean, he's got to work on getting the upgrades for those because the Terran upgrade overlap now between air and ground makes these Vikings very, very strong. Point defense drones, they're nice, but in the grand scheme of things, they use up a lot of the energy that I think would rather be used for point defense drones if you could even get close to the front of this base here. Nice yank there, getting another couple of tanks. That Viper got owned in the face. More Vikings, more Ravens. Lots of tanks here. Very, very interesting mix. And the good thing, essentially for... Oh no, the Zergling moved. That's so unfortunate. Some Thors out now. They have high impact payload on right now, which I suppose works fine. You can get some pretty good clump ups here on these Mutas. I want to say, it looks like he's really willing to sacrifice all those corruptors. That's a pretty big amount of gas though, and it's one of those things you don't... Oh no, don't run the Vikings into the spore crawlers. Oh yes. I think the Zergling's just running between bases, that's why. Well, he's working away, slowly. Might get that Thor. No, point defense drones look like he'll just gonna save it in time. I mean, this obviously doesn't put Goody in a great position. He's maxed, but I don't think he can really move out anytime too soon. Nice micro on the Vikings. Get the damage in that you can. Gets a couple of Vikings there. He's got to replenish up. 10 more Corruptors on the way. Plus 1 attack is about to finish up. But the Vikings are now, well, they're going to be 3-3 soon. So those overlap in the Terran Mech upgrades is pretty useful. Looks like he's ready to sacrifice a few of these here SCVs that aren't doing him any good. Big amount of Vipers. Wow, that is a pretty sick thing there. Unfortunately, a fair bit of the spore crawlers did get lost. These tanks are actually doing damage out here, funny enough. Snoot's already been maxing, more Corruptors, more Queens. That was a pretty good hit from him. He got a lot of tanks. See, there's that huge mineral bank still for the Terran player, which might be nice if he could afford the supply to go into something like Hellions, because the Hellions obviously are going to give him that mobility where he can maybe run around the map and hit some of these bases up. He's got at least some spine crawlers there that would make that a little bit more difficult. This is like a one-player game. Anybody else love doing this when they're playing Terran one-player against some computers? Holy crap. The problem with that is he doesn't actually have enough locusts at this direct moment to get off the damage he needed to. Point defense drones starting to dry up a bit, more getting casted in the back. That's a pretty big hit for Goody. He lost a lot of tanks and Thors there. I'm surprised he didn't try to retreat them. I think there was an opportunity to. Patrolling all the bases just to make sure nothing crazy is happening. And he's just going to keep choking his opponent out here slowly. Did you see the transfuse on the infested Terran? That was cute. You know you're behind when your opponent can afford transfuses on infested Terrans. That's an important little move down here on this side with the siege tanks. How many swarm hosts are left here? There's 16 still. He's lost quite a bit of them. Unfortunately, we heard a Seeker missile that didn't quite get a chance to descend there. These Spore Crawlers are so beat up. He's been using all of his energy drains on those. Pretty good air army here. He's going to save up energy for another big pull with the Vipers. And I'm surprised it's working that well. I really didn't think it was going to be cost effective enough for him. 7 more Swarm Hosts on the way. 1 tank going to try to clean up some creep. Smart. The creep's really been an advantage to the Zerg player here. Vikings, very expensive right now. There's no gas available for the Terran. They still got all of his gases here. That one's about to go out. These ones are done. Lots of idle SCVs, but what good are they going to do anyways? Queens doing what they can. Very careful with those queens. They'll get pushed into the front with all the locusts. That queen's going to die horribly. Now I'm going to be very impressed if he can actually hold on to this base. I mean, that gas is so desperate. He might as well take all of his SCVs and long distance mine gas. That's a nice little move here. We'll get 1 Swarm Host at least out of that. Did cost them about 4 Hellbats. Still no blue flame on them. Zergling still patrolling. He's actually going to burrow now. Save himself the time. Just getting in the damage he can. I mean, it's not terrible. He's actually got a bunch more Swarm Hosts. There they are. I was about to say, where are all those new Swarm Hosts he made? So it didn't seem like they were all there for a moment. He could probably still, yeah, push some south. Get some damage in over here. Well, he did get the base down. It is mining. Looks like he yanked a few more tanks over. Good little pull. That's a very impressive air army. I just don't think it's going to do enough. Well, Snoot's still doing pretty good on his gas. I thought he'd maybe take another base by now, just at least for the gas mining. 2 shots off on some tanks, get the damage in that you can. Nice little lineup down here. Even to run in some Zerglings in here might be kind of cool, just for the tank splash damage. Let's see if he's going to reroute some of these Swarm Hosts back around to the other side. Yeah, these guys are coming in here to do some damage, and there's nothing really in place to deal with them. That southern flank is toast now, though. More defense is happening. Great positioning just in time for Snoot. He will save this from getting any serious damage. He's going to have to retake that 1 gas, though. Imagine if this game went on. This is one of those games that could have gone on like 4 hours. Just slowly move from base to base, slowly beat things back. The unit kill count for Goody in this is going to be just retarded. Nice blinding cloud on some of these tanks. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like his Swarm Hosts are super lined up for timing. A nice fungal on that would be pretty sick too. Looks like that's what he wants to do. He's still inching around with those infestors. 1 big fungal on there is going to do a lot. There we go. These guys just aren't rallied right now. That's really unfortunate for Snoot. Because that would be a big deal for him. Oh, he did run a Hellbat over here, so we can maybe start mining. That's kind of cute. Oh, we hear massive... Oh, well, it's only going to hit 3 here. Whoa, that did not work out the way he hoped. It was a smart move. I like the idea, Snoop, but that did not pay off. Did we just see epic mule drop? Oh, it's not super epic. Oh no, the fungo! One more! Oh, that might be GG. Yeah, without that air army. Great game there. That was really funky. Looks like Snoot already had a plan in mind how to deal with something that Goody did, even though Goody went 4 command center start. Well, 3 additional ones. Crazy game. SeKo Starcraft. It's a best of 3. Tune in for game 2 coming at you right away.